Hello, my name is Lola, and I'm going to be reacting to Peppa Pig's uh, by uh, Caddicarus. Let's see what can I say about Peppa Pig. Like I said, I've never seen Peppa Pig. I didn't grow up with it. I, all I know is it's just a family of pigs. Here we go.
Before today's episode begins, everybody, I'd just like to say that I was recently on an extremely fun interview session on YouTube, and I highly suggest that you go and watch it in the description below. I mean, well, listen to it. It's an audio file on YouTube. So, yeah, it was extreme amounts of fun, and I highly suggest it. Thanks for listening.
I am sleeping. I am sleeping. I am sleeping.
I am not sleeping anymore.
Peppa's ribs.
Greetings and salutations, my beautiful people, and welcome to the Caddicarus show, where I always have to do the deed of deciding whether or not things deserve to be slaughtered or salvaged. And oh, how I have waited in vain to talk about Peppa Pig. Peppa Peg. Peppa Twatting Pig.
Peppa Pig. It wouldn't be quite as cute if she were a hog. What can you say about the show? Kids eat it up, quite literally. And even some adults seem to love it. But why?
I have no sodding clue. But I'm not here to answer that question.
All you need to know is that it's a preschooler show about a family of pigs. Pigs of all things, that began life in 2004. Picked up so much traction that it's now on 200 plus episodes, won tons of awards, got its own damn theme park in the UK, and even has celebrity voices in it on occasion. Oh, and by the way, merchandise is fucking everywhere.
And no, this video is not going to be dissecting why that is exactly, because to be completely honest with you, I don't get it. And I've been wanting to make this video for a long time, so with the advent of our kids recently explaining on Film Fridays everything about Peppa Pig and kind of ripping it to pieces a bit, I have a feeling there should be an episode where they all just get cut up and cooked into bacon. How about that?
Well, it depends.
It depends! Is there no better life conundrum to tackle?
So in order to be totally fair, I decided not to buy a DVD because I'm not giving them any money, and instead went onto YouTube, typed in Peppa Pig in HD videos only,
Because I'm not a Neanderthal.
and then arranged them by the most views that they have. Then I went to the first English compilation I could find, and it turned out to be from the official Peppa Pig channel itself, with 120 million plus views, and
Whoa.
of course, likes and comments disabled. But either way, this apparently is the best of the best that Peppa Pig audiences will ask for, what they flock to, and what keeps the popularity and the views skyrocketed on the internet.
And I'm sure you can't handle the wait any longer. You want to see my harboured hatred for this show, right? Well, let's sit back, watch this compilation, and see if my hatred is brought out by any of it.
I'm Peppa.
Oh, I brought it out already!
So here we have a theme song,
Damn,
which isn't
already.
really a theme song as much as it is Peppa giving a fucking roll call like she's in the army, while some fast-paced brass assaults your ears. And here are the main characters, Peppa, George, Mummy, and Daddy. The show revolves around the daily activities and adventures they all get up to. That's it. Literally that's it. No more to explain. And the first episode on this compilation is Grampy Rabbit's Dinosaur Park, where immediately shit isn't right. Firstly,
Dinosaur Park!
I must shed a tear for Brian Blessed. And secondly, it highlights everything wrong with the visual design of the show. Yeah, the colours are pretty laid back and cool for a preschool show, and that's fine, but does that excuse some of the absolute worst character design, laziest art direction and animation I've ever seen? You can call it style, I call it terrible. Arms and legs are sticks, it's way too simplistic and ugly, the lines of each character's outlines overlap, Peppa's head looks like anything you can think of, a hairdryer, a dildo, a whistle, pretty much anything other than a pig's head. And did any thought go into where the body parts belong? The elephant's trunk is stuck on the side of its head, Grampy Rabbit's beard and mustache is a mile away from his nose, and what the hell is up with those eyes? The characters never look directly at the screen, and I'm very happy about that because I have absolutely no clue what you'd actually see gazing back at you. Looking at everyone on the side constantly leads me to believe that these characters have 4 eyes, 2 on this side of the head and 2 on the other side, because how else would it make any sense at all if there were only 2 eyes? Daddy Pig's glasses don't reach over his nose, so it's obvious it's a different pair of glasses on each side of his head, and my god, sometimes they even have teeth and sometimes they don't. Peppa Pig has fucking retractable teeth. Perfect for when she lures children to her caves ready to eat them alive. I'm going off topic though. This episode isn't that fun to talk about, but gives you a great look into the messed up artwork thrust upon you. That then gets confirmed in the next episode about a character called Mr. Potato. A French giant walking, talking potato...
Fuck this.
I mean, it's never made clear if he's an actual potato or a man or animal in a suit or anything, and this episode in particular demonstrates the awful structure some of the episodes have. In this one, the family watch him on TV, beg mummy to drive them to go and see him for about a minute and nothing happens, fuck off back to preschool for another minute to draw fruit pictures in a very rushed manner, send them to him in about 5 seconds, and then ruin their own ending joke by spoiling what Peppa actually drew earlier, but then revealing it as a twist ending joke somehow, and it ends with this line.
Daddy Pig likes jumping up and down.
Which is funny because I thought the joke always was that Daddy Pig was very fat because he hated exercise and hated jumping around, so what has this got to do with fucking egg?
Hey Phoebe, do you want some genuine Peppa Pig flesh? Does that taste nice? You like eating Peppa's inside?
Not really.
Oh.
It's also worth mentioning that in this camping episode, Peppa is a hypocrite.
I love camping. It sounds a bit boring.
And she also interrupts people.
The ducks always turn up
When we have picnics.
And by the way, out of nowhere, for no reason and no explanation, with no build-up, in a joke that comes out of thin air and makes absolutely no sense and has no context within the episode at all and so can't even be viewed as a joke, the family drive into a river, the car floats, and then the car says,
"Welcome to the car of the future."
I mean, I wish I could say there was even a beginning portion of the episode where they bought the camper van and were told it did something secret, or that Daddy Pig accidentally bought the wrong thing, or they were supposed to buy something else and then he decided not to listen to the family and bought his own thing because, you know, that's what daddies do with their cars and their toys. Or that they won the car in a special competition. I don't know anything, but nah. The episode begins and they just have the car. Oh, and by the way, this is the car of the future. Go and pillage.
And yes, like I had to say in every video where I'm talking about something that's made for kids or suitable for kids, please do not tell me I can't complain because I'm not the target audience, because this shit is made by adults, and I just don't think it's very well made at all. And that's just from a few standpoints so far. I've got so much more to say about the characters and the writing that make me despair, but let's just tackle one thing at a time, okay?
For now, let's hear what they'd sound like with farts and human screams of torment.
I'm Peppa Pig. This is my little brother George. This is Mummy Pig. And this is Daddy Pig.
No? Okay, how about real pig noises then?
I'm Peppa Pig. This is my little brother George. This is Mummy Pig. And this is Daddy Pig.
Oh god, no. Now let's get the mitts raised up good and proper, because this next episode is where my proper issues with the show as a whole begin to surface. The family goes swimming and the rabbit family join in. First of all, the rabbits sound like this.
Hello everyone.
Yep, not the worst thing imaginable at all. Secondly, it's annoyingly inconsistent, having George in a pool in one shot and then immediately out of the pool on the other end of the pool in the very next shot, and having these diving boards seemingly crossfade in and out of existence in between the shots, which is inexcusable because it's animation. And thirdly, the kids in this show, you know, the ones that the target audience relate to and really like to watch and may even copycat, can be dicks. Selfish, annoying, spoiled dicks. And I'm not saying that kids aren't like that, because they all are. I'm sorry, every single one of them are. And if you're an adult, well, you were as well. So was I. Everybody was. We are pretty much all born from day one to be as selfish, lazy, and self-fulfilling as possible as human beings, and the things that stop us from going down that road in the future are the parents. Ever met a selfish, horrible, spoiled, twatty adult? That's what happens when you aren't controlled at an early age. It's completely natural for us to develop into that. I'm sure we'd be happy to shit our pants every day if we weren't taught to get off our asses and use a toilet, and I'm sure that many of us would like to just sit down and do nothing all day like a dystopian Wall-E future if our parents didn't teach us to actually use our legs to walk. Kids try to get away with their own shit as often as possible, because why the hell shouldn't they try it? If they like doing something and it makes them happy or makes them laugh, they're gonna try fucking doing it. Hence why a barrier needs to be placed to help them learn their limits and actually kind of start being a decent human being after a while. But in this show, well, from the 20 or so episodes I've seen on TV, the 10 episodes I watched with the kids on their video, and the episodes all in here, I can't recall a single episode where bad behavior has consequences or where even slightly questionable behavior is mentioned. I know that's a generalization, I haven't watched most of the show, but here is a prime example. Richard Rabbit has a watering can and annoys the fuck out of Peppa, who isn't even his sister, so that seems kind of rude from the offset. She asks him to stop, not too harshly by the way, and then him and George just decide to laugh and then drop the fucking can. Good, he should have stopped. Then they both cry for whatever reason, despite the fact that George wasn't touching the watering can, and every cry in this show makes you want to kill yourself. followed by pathetic, sad little begs for the parents to get the can back. Not politely, by the way. Instead of these parents here teaching the kids to say please and maybe they'd consider it, or just telling them to calm down in the first place and trying to deal with the crying, or even bringing out the fact that they shouldn't have been rude and annoying and will only get the can back if they decide to behave, they all just bow down to their wishes, get the can back.
There you go.
Well done, Daddy Pig.
And they don't even get a thank you. Something that you can teach your kids, funnily enough, if they can speak. And then the best thing about it is that straight away...
Nope.
They act like dicks again, laugh it off, and they even do it to Daddy Pig of all the pigs, who said a few seconds ago,
Try not to splash, but you don't need to splash quite so much.
like, what the actual fuck?
You'll get a better view if you watch me from the side.
Oh yeah, I believe him, because if you look at him from the front, you'll see this.
I also don't know if you've noticed this before, but since Peppa's parents are actually called Mummy and Daddy Pig, those are their names as characters, that means that when they were conceiving George and Peppa, they were fucking each other and saying, oh Mummy, and oh Daddy, and that is just the worst fucking thing.
Although I will proudly admit, this bit made me laugh.
Don't splash us with water, Daddy!
It's nonsensical, yeah, but it has a decent build-up, a decent execution, averts expectation for a silly reason, and it's just clever. I thought it was quite funny. And I just find it a shame that most of the humour isn't done in a similar kind of way.
Very Hot Day, one of the worst episodes and worst offenders for the narrator of the show. Oh yeah, this show has a narrator. A narrator has a lot of power in a show like this. They can tell everybody what's going on, no matter how old you are, as simply, quickly, and efficiently as possible. They can clear up loose ends really quickly. They can teach morals at the end of episodes, and when they're used correctly, or used to preface an episode of something, or preface a movie or something, I think they can work really well. They set a good mood. And sometimes if you're basing your work on a book or something, then having the narrator read the story as the animation or whatever is playing out in front of you is a nice stylistic choice because they're just reading the book. But here in Peppa Pig, the narrator is the worst, absolute worst. He barely needs to be in it at all, but decides to take up half of the fucking episode, and he treats every single kid like a moron. He doesn't need to be there for the adults because the adults can see what's going on. But even if you're going to make the argument the narrator is there to make it easier to understand for the kids, no. This guy thinks that every single kid hasn't even evolved to be a fucking human being of today's world yet. Whoever wrote this literally thinks that every child is an idiot, a complete bloody moron. And let's just go down the list on this particular episode and you can see for yourself why I think this.
It is a very hot day.
What a lovely hot day.
Well, you didn't need to start off the episode by saying that if Mummy Pig was already going to say it.
They are going to jump in muddy puddles.
I love muddy puddles.
But you didn't need to say that either. You could have just let Peppa say that she loves muddy puddles and just let her try jumping in them. You can see that. It's pretty obvious what she's going to do.
The sun is so hot that the puddles have dried up.
Mummy, Daddy, the puddles are all dry.
Well, you didn't need to say that either because Peppa says the exact same goddamn thing in a second. Why are you ruining the story for us?
You have to change into your swimming costumes.
Peppa and George are wearing their swimming costumes.
Oh my god, do you not understand the point of a narrator, Peppa Pig? You can't tell me for a single second that they're doing this just to spell it out for the younger kids who don't know what's going on, because for fuck's sake, you can see the costumes on the screen right now, and if you're that young that you don't quite know what that is yet, what does Mummy Pig say?
You have to change into your swimming costumes.
So why does the narrator need to then say it again? Well, if you remove all of the unnecessary narration and watch the scene play out again, you'll completely understand why.
Peppa and George are wearing their boots.
I love muddy puddles. Oh. Mummy, Daddy, the puddles are all dry.
Yes, that's why. It's fluff. It's stupid, pandering fluff. Padding. Barbecue ribs.
Let's get some air into this paddling pool.
Daddy Pig is pumping up the paddling pool.
Oh my god, are you fucking joking?
Ice cream! Ice cream! Miss Rabbit, the ice cream lady!
Miss Rabbit sells ice cream.
They made one character scream out that there is ice cream and then made another character say it's being sold by Miss Rabbit, so why are you narrating?
Can I have a cone, please, Miss Rabbit?
Of course you may, Peppa.
Thank you.
Oh, thank God, manners. Peppa saved her own show before I came in fuming anger.
And what would young Mr. George like?
Dinosaur!
It just so happens that I do have a dinosaur-shaped ice lolly.
dinosaur.
Okay, I'm fucking serious. This is actually insulting now. Why does nobody teach George how to be a decent member of society? For such a moral-driven show to a point where they had to redo earlier episodes of the show to include bike helmets and seatbelts on characters that weren't there before in the original airing, they seem to let George get away with murder with absolutely no problem at all. When he's not standing there looking all cute and smiling and laughing, he just begs, cries, takes things. No parent figure ever says anything to him about any of this, so how will he ever learn? And look, he blatantly, completely ignores his mum here.
Eat your ice lolly before it melts.
George loves his dinosaur ice lolly so much he doesn't want to eat it.
And then what happens?
Eat your ice lolly before it melts and falls on the ground.
And so what does he do?
Oh dear.
And what happens after all of that?
You can share Daddy's ice cream.
Look, I'm sure that he's a good dad and everything who would offer that, you know, if he was there. But that seems extremely unfair to do that with Daddy Pig not being there. And when George was the one who wasn't polite, didn't listen, wasted money, cried like a little bitch, and then got rewarded with not only more ice cream, but a share of someone else's ice cream who wasn't even there to say if it was okay. By the way, he ate the whole thing! Look, it's gone! Oh wait, no, it's back. Where did that go? Up his
You
up.
see why I hate this show now? Not only is it everything that I hate about copy-paste, horrifically unimaginative and lazy kid show animation, but this episode in particular is one of the worst for everything. For structure, for writing, for characters, for bad morals, unnecessary fluff, and I can't watch any more of it because it never improves.
Quick, George, let's get our boots.
Peppa and George are wearing their boots.
Eat your ice lolly before it melts and falls on the ground.
George's dinosaur ice lolly has melted and fallen on the ground.
Okay, I can't do it anymore. Yeah, I know, I've only just passed the halfway point of this compilation, but I really can't do it anymore. I'd rather rip out Peppa's spleen, George's trachea, Daddy Pig's canthus, and Mummy Pig's philtrum and brew myself the most disgusting pig gut stew and eat it than watch anymore.
Even the next episode, where Peppa's sheep friend comes over for a bit, has Peppa now acting like a total cow with nothing being done about it at all.
No, George. This game is just for big girls. Go and play with your own toys.
And when the narrator actually might have a decent purpose to say Peppa was rude or something, no, he says,
Peppa and Susie want to play on their own.
Really? I didn't notice! And not only does George basically ignore Peppa even though she's being very stern with him, he should have got the message and then run off and told Mummy Pig when he saw her a few seconds later or something, I don't know. But he also then gets called back when it suits Peppa and then doesn't get an apology or anything. This could have been a good episode about how siblings need alone time with friends every so often and how to be nice when telling the other sibling that, and there could have been some discussion on George ignoring Peppa and Peppa being absolutely horrible. There could have been so much here, but nah, life is sunshine and fucking rainbows. Look at George, he looks like a boil. And Daddy Pig then walks in and nothing happens, nothing is said, and I just feel like eating sausages now. Look guys, I just don't know what else to say here. This show is draining, so lacking in creativity or memorability and long-lasting appeal, it's almost depressing. And it's clear that they were visually designed for the easiest and most effortless book and merchandise processing and reprocessing that it can all handle. There's a couple of bendy lines and simple shapes. It's so obvious. I mean, look at some of the books here. They just use the exact same images and sometimes flip them over on the next page. And with all the subtle little ways it shows off and completely brushes past anything negative worries me, honestly, purely because of how popular it is, how many awards it's won, and how many kids not only watch it, but are left babysat by it from their parents for hours on end with these damn movie-long compilation clips on YouTube. I'm not for a second suggesting that you need to be harsh and horrible with children. They've got imaginations, they love life, they've got no responsibilities, no worries, and they fucking deserve it. It's the only time in life where you can actually have that time of your life and have it completely be justified and understandable. I'm not advocating against having fun, I'm advocating against the fact that there's nothing realistic even slightly in here when it comes to negative behavior and stuff. It's kind of toxic. There's more enriching, enlightening, timeless, effort-drenched and entertaining stuff to show kids people, and stuff that does not cause toddlers who absorb everything they see from an early age to copycat and behave like every single character in the show like it's all okay and everyone will laugh about it later because they're cute little fucking friends. Trust me, I've met a few kids like that. They get molded by this show, I'm serious. So for something not as creative or educational as Sesame Street, not as funny as Pingu, not as charming and great at teaching lessons and tells unforgettable stories as the original Thomas the Tank Engine UK series, and not even as batshit insane as the Teletubbies for as little sense that makes, and even Dora the Explorer has more of a point.
Peppa Pig gets slaughtered. But not like this. Can we cook her now? We can? Oh, yes! I am the bacon wizard! And today on the show we're going to be cooking some of the finest food I've ever made in my life. I'm gonna need some oil. You have to put it on a high heat. You have to really, really cook it, because the more you hate something, the more you have to cook it. Just remember that rule. And then what we do first is that we throw in. Obviously,
Peppa Pig
Peppa
blanket.
goes in first. That's just where she goes. Followed by a George Sum Sum, and you know what? Just for the sake of it, another George needs to go in as well with his bloody fucking sandcastle. And so that while that's simmering in there, what we really need to do is start stirring it around, because as you can hear, it's starting to sizzle already. So we need to kind of keep things moving around, douse everything in the oil, and it will smell like a fry-up in any time at all. When it starts smelling not so funny anymore, I'm going to say that's now. What you're going to do is then add in Peppa's ribs, actual Peppa's ribs. So they go in, and I don't know how many we'll need. I'm going to say 2 just for now. These can wait. Your time will come. The rest of Peppa's body. Be careful not to get everything stuck though, because as you can see, it's sticking. Oh dear. I've never in my whole years of cooking, I have never experienced such a sticky stick. Look at Greasy George's belly. Oh dear.
God.
That's the cost of being wise and having a wizard's hat. You can't see. You're blinded sometimes by the truth, because you know the truth in your head. Oh dear, George has officially imploded. Oh dear, he's gone. George has officially gone. When that happens and his remains start going a little bit gooey there, that is when you need to decide how much you want Peppa's ribs done, because I mean these are just the garnishes really. They're just the garnishes. Even greatest masterpieces in the world know when they have to stop. Race car drivers know when they need to stop, and so will your wizard magic cooking. I don't know how much longer we can wait though. We've got quite a lot to get on with this evening on the show. We're going to be cooking Postman Pat later, and his giant nose, because that would make a good hot dog, I think. Yeah. Okay. Do you know what? It's starting to make some very funny fumes. And at that point, even wizards know when their brews and their potions aren't going where they should do. So let's just turn the heat down. When everything basically looks like that, basically that's when you know you've done a good job. So then what you have to do, this is the most important bit, is that you have to make a sausage out of it. You see, you have to make a sausage. So what you need to do is that you need to get this bit out here. This is the sausage outing, okay? And then what you do, preferably with something that you don't need to touch with your own fingers, for fear of catching the worst diseases known to man. So I recommend some tongs. There he goes, sausage skin time. There we go. If we just stretch this out bit a little bit, the sandcastle can go in, along with attached to the other George.
Oh God, I can't get it in.
Douse that with a bit of the pork. A bit of Peppa's ribs, that needs to go in. There we go. The sausage is coming along nicely. Peppa, I really don't know. Peppa, I really don't know if she. Oh, fuck it. Can we get this one in at least? Yeah, there we go. That's better. Ah, it's hot. It's hot. It's so hot. Oh God. Ah! Get in it, Peppa. Get in it. Come on, get in it.
Oh God.
Get in it, Peppa! That incarnation of George, honestly, I think he just got what he deserved. I don't think he needs to go in the sausage, because he'll just taint it. So we'll leave that George there. And here we have a meal fit for the finest prince of England. It's the best sausage in the county, bar none. Guaranteed. Look at the juices in the bottom there. That's the sign of good quality there. And yes, thank you for joining me today. That is how you make proper organic, free-range Peppa Pig sausages, ribbed for their pleasure.
Subscribe.
Jeez. Why do you have to get involved every time?
I am sleeping.
I'm not.
Oh fuck.
Broken leg, so that's why everything looks a bit lower down this
I like the shots are low because Caddicarus is low.
Damn, I didn't think Caddy hated that show that much. It was so gross. We pulled out a condom and start cooking the toys and start freaking making ribs. That's weird. Damn, Caddy hates the show that much. And at some points, yeah, I don't blame him. That whole narrating, really terrible. Anyway, that's my reaction to old Peppa Pig, Caddicarus. Everybody take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.